In Illustrator, we have lots of panels for colors, to choose colors, to mix colors. The panel where you'll store most of your colors and where you'll use to take out colors which you stored before, preset colors, is the Swatch panel. Let's learn all about it. The Swatch panel will be in this small icon there. If you don't see it, you can go to Windows and choose from the Swatches. You can take out this whole panel and drag it anywhere by holding on this gray space. If you don't see all these colors, by the way, then it's fine. You don't have to worry because we'll see soon how to get them. You can make it bigger by pulling on any of these sides in the bottom or on the side there. And you can collapse it by pressing on this small icon there. Also, you can double click there and that will also collapse the panel. Put it in any of these here, so you will have it right there or this side, anywhere you want. So as we said, this Swatch panel is where you'll store all your colors. As you can see, I have lots of colors here. You can create new colors here and you can save any colors which you wish on this Swatch panel. This icon here is to choose between the fill or the stroke colors. It's the same thing as these two. The one that will be on top, as you can see currently, this full square is on top, so that's my fill. So anything I'll change now will affect the fill of the shape. This one will affect the stroke. So to swap them, you can just click on it and I'll bring the stroke in front. Now you can change any color to that stroke, or you can just press on the keyboard shortcut X. That will also do the same job. Then you've got these two icons here. You can choose either to view all these swatches as a list, like in InDesign, for those of you that work in InDesign, or as these swatches thumbnails. And below here you'll have all these swatches. Once again, if you don't see anything here, it's fine, don't worry about it. So the very first swatch, which you would have because in default you have these two, you can't get rid of them. This one is no fill. So if you've got any shape and you have some fill, once you press on this icon here, then you will get no fill. You can also use a shortcut to press the slash or divide, and I'll do the same thing. It's just like giving it 100% opacity, the same thing. And also, like we said, if you want to choose that there will be no stroke, then you put the stroke in front by clicking on it or by pressing on X, and then you can press this icon here or the shortcut on the keyboard. Then the next option here in the swatches panel is registration swatch. That's also a default one which you can't remove. What that does, as you can see, becomes black, but it's not a regular black, so don't use this for a regular black. This is like 100% black of everything, so if you're gonna print anything, then I really don't recommend you using it because it's a real thick black and it will take a long time for the ink to dry and it will probably be more expensive. Unless you're doing your own printing marks and all of those stuff, then maybe you'll use it, but I don't think you'll need to, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you can choose any other color from here. So you've got here white, black, all these colors. And you can choose also gradients. So you have here some default gradients or patterns. You can choose any of those there. You've also got here color folders. You may not have it, but it's possible you will have these folders here of colors inside them. As you can see, this folder icon there. You'll know if you're using any color if it's selected with white. So here you can see a white border around it. I'm not sure if you see it very well. Then also if you select any object with a color on it, so say this is another color, and now I go to select this green object, and you'll see straight away which color is used from the swatch panel. As you can see, it's selected. You can also move around any swatch, so if I want the green to be there, I can move it, and this brown there, etc. You get the idea. So down below in this icon you have libraries. These are preset libraries of tons of colors. You can choose from any of these. You have here history colors, celebration, food colors. So say you can just choose, if you're doing something with food, you can choose this fruit colors, and you have this small window popping out. Delete this one. And that's a library of all these food colors. And it's made out of all these folders. You can just hover anyone to see the colors of it. You have apple, banana, all these fruits, watermelon. If you want to choose any color from here, you can simply drag it onto the swatch panel and you'll see it gets there placed. If you want to drag the whole folder, so say you're making a watermelon and you want to drag it, you can either drag the whole folder there or just double click on it and that'll do the same job. It will be added to your swatches panel. So if now I'm going to make watermelons now, I'm going to create watermelons and you can choose all these colors like we said, and then you'll have them easily from here. You could also move this around and say join it to there, so you'll have like a mini swatches that you can take from there, any color. Also, if you know you're going to be using a library panel, say you're going to make lots of food stuff or any of these other libraries you've got here, nature. So you're going to be using all these beach colors. You could also choose from this options here and choose persistent. That'll keep this library open, so you don't have to look for the libraries whenever you open and look for it. It will just open automatically and you'll be able to use any of these colors from here. You can also change the libraries in a quick way from these arrows here. So you can go around, as you can see on top there, stone and brick and natural, these stuff are changing here. You can just go on, you'll see tons of different colors and color combinations, so that's very cool. And also, like we said, if you don't have any colors, so just delete all of them, delete them all, go on no colors here in your swatch panel. To get the default colors back, you can go to this library icon and choose default swatches, then depending on what you're working on, RGB or print, say, so we're working now on RGB, then you would see this default library. If you want to add all of them, you can click once on the last one and then shift click on the top one. I'll select them all, then you can just drag it into your swatches panel and close this library book thing because they're all here now. So it comes in a very nice order. Then we also have color books. So if you go into your swatches libraries here, you can choose color books. These are actually physical color books which big companies made them. I'm sure maybe you heard of Pantone or other color companies. That's, I think, the most famous one, Pantone. Depends on which country you are. And you can check online, you can see their website with all their colors. You can actually buy color books. And once you chose any color, then you can go to your swatch panel and choose from these color books. So say you're going to CMYK, Pantone CMYK coated, and then you have these huge color libraries where you can choose the exact color. So these are all colors on the color wheel or on the website. You can actually buy a color wheel there on the website. What's very cool about these colors is that when you go to print, then you can, the printer will actually recognize when it's a Pantone color or any of the other colors from the color books, and it will put that specific color. And you can also tell him to actually change the Pantone. So when after you sent it, then you can say any Pantone EF5 whatever you want to change to another Pantone, you'll be able to do that too. Here is different from the other colors, so when you click on any of this, it doesn't get added to the library. You have to pull it and then it will get added to the swatches. But on any of these color books, the moment you click on any, it will automatically get added. As you can see, it's added there. You can also search for any color here. If you don't see the search option, then you can go to this options here and choose show find field. Then you can actually search for any color. I'm just guessing any color. So you can see one or two is like light blues and stuff. You can choose from there any specific color which you have. So that's as far as color books goes. Now you could also change any existing color in your swatches panel. So it doesn't have to be that exact brown. You can change it slightly. If you want to change it, you can double click on any color and you'll get this window opening. So here we've got a few options. You have the swatch name. Don't be wrong by this. I mean, it's supposed to be RGB, these values here, but it doesn't have to be. So even if I change this B to 00, you'll see this color doesn't change at all, and it stays the same color there because it's just a swatch name. So by default, if you open up, you would be able to see the values from there, but it changes, as you can see there. So you can change it from there. You can call it any color. And then we've got here an option, color type. Here you can choose between a spot color or a process color. A spot color is a very exact color. It's a lot more expensive, and you can't really use more than like 4 colors in one document. Also nowadays, I don't think you will need it so much because most of the printers, I think, do use process color even for exact objects. But maybe if you have a logo which you want to get really exact colors, then you'll use a spot color. Then you've got your option if to choose it to be a global color or not. What that does is it makes all the colors change together, so it can be quite cool. Let me just demonstrate it. So we've got this green, and let's make this into a global color. Now if I have a few elements with this same color, I don't need to select it. I don't need to select anything actually. I can just choose that spot color. You can see it's a spot color if it has this small white triangle at the bottom of it. By the way, any of the color box also is a spot color, so you can see it from there. Then you double click here and change it, say, to this color, so you can see the difference. And all of them change straight away. So it can be very useful at times, but also a bit risky because you might be changing a color and you didn't realize, and now your whole document is a different color. But if you're doing, let's say, the same logo and for a letterhead and a business card and all of these stuff, then will be very convenient that you don't have to go and change each one on the same document. You can just change that color and it will change for all of them. So that's this global thing. Then you have here color mode. You have either RGB, grayscale, all these things. Grayscale is just black and white shades, and RGB is for screens. It's made out of red, green and blue. If you're using it for any screen document, then it's recommended to use RGB, but for print you will have to use CMYK. Those are the printer's color: cyan, magenta, yellow and black. So it all depends on what you're working on. You also have HSB, that's hue, saturation and brightness. So the hue is the color and the saturation is the amount of color, how much like paint you're pouring, and the brightness is how bright it will be. It can be very dark or very bright. Don't get confused between the saturation and the brightness, 2 different things. And we've also got a web safe RGB. Today also I don't think you need to use that so much. It's just colors which are safe for using on a web. So if you're designing any website or any of that sort, then you can use those colors. Nowadays I think almost all colors are web safe, so I don't think you have to worry about that unless you're using a very old computer or something. Then if you see here, let's just change this back to RGB. You may see here some exclamation mark or this cube sign. What this shows us normally is that it's not in the CMYK range. That means it's way too bright for a printer. So once you print it or look like that, it gives you a preview of how it will look. If you don't change it, then you might run into trouble because suddenly you'll see your work looking very dull and terrible and you have to change a different color. So if you're using for print, the best will be to actually use CMYK, and then you don't have to worry about that because anything you'll do here will be fit for print because it's a CMYK mode. But if you use RGB and you want it to be able to print, then you might get these marks, especially if you go on the too bright side. To correct that, you can just press on it once and you'll get the new color. Normally it'll be more dull. And here you've got this cube sign. That's the same idea, just for web safe colors, so it's out of range from the safe color, from the web colors. But once again, like I said, I don't think you need to worry about that nowadays. If you want to correct it in any event, you can press on it once and I'll correct it to a web safe color. And here you've got add to my libraries. You can choose to add to your Creative Cloud library. You can choose from any library there. That's very convenient if you're working, let's say, from home and from your office. Then you can just download it from your Creative Cloud library and you'll have it on any device or anywhere you're working on. And this preview is just to see how it will look on the shapes, of course. You can also see the preview of the color on this icon here, here, or even on the swatches panel. There you have that small icon. So that's how you would change a swatch, a single swatch. You can change also a pattern. If you double click on any pattern, you'll get this pattern windows. We'll go over it some other time. If you want to change an entire color group, so say all these grays are of color, or let's just get to colorful something, celebration. So say you have all these colors and you want to recolor them. Instead of going each one and recoloring it, you can match them all together by double clicking on this panel, or when you select this folder, you would see this small icon there, and when you select one single swatch, you'll see this icon there. So that's to recolor the whole folder together. Then you'll see this recolor panel opening here. You can change all of these there. We'll go over this some other lesson, so I'm not too worried about that now, but it's quite cool to know that you can change all the colors at once without having to go to each one in that same folder. So you can see it created a new group for me of the colors which are changed. And we haven't spoken about folders at all. So here you've got any folders. As we said, you can choose folders from these libraries. You'll get some things in folders. You could also create your own custom made folder. So you can go to this icon here and create a folder, call it whichever name you want. Then you can put in your colors into that folder. So you can just drag any color and put it into that folder. Say these are your logo colors, and then you've got your folders here. You can also drag any color from this folder, so you can drag this color out of that folder, and you can see the name when you hover over it. Also, if you want to change your name, then you can double click, and once again you'll get this panel. Then you can change the name here to anything you like. So here down below we have a few options. We went through this option. You have here Adobe theme color. That's a cloud, all the colors of Adobe that either people uploaded or other colors. You can see it there once it gets loaded. You can choose your own colors. You can upload your own colors or other people's colors, or all different presets of colors and color themes. So it goes well sometimes if you're looking for like a certain color theme. So it'll take time to connect or whatever. We'll go over that also in another lesson. When you click on any icon, then you can choose this option here. Will add this specific color to your library. So you can choose also on a group, and you can add the whole group. Like we said, if you're working on any logo or anything which you need those specific colors for, then you can choose that group and add it to your library, and then you can access it from any device. In this icon, you can choose what to display in your swatch panel. So that's also possible. Why maybe you don't see all your colors, you have to choose show all swatches, but it's convenient if I'm working only with my groups here, let's say, then you can choose show color groups, and it will show only the color groups, and then it's much easier to see what to choose from. You can choose only gradients, etc., all this stuff. I'm keeping it to show all of them. Then when you press on any swatch, you have this option here to change the swatch. It's the same thing as double clicking on the swatch itself. Or if you're choosing a group, you'll see this icon changes to this recolor group, because now you're recoloring the whole group. This folder icon, like we said, you can create a new group. And here you can add a new swatch. That's just the same thing as recoloring in swatch, existing swatch. So you can create a new one from there. And by the way, you can also create a new swatch from double clicking here. You'll get this panel, and you can choose from this color picker any color you want here. And then of course you've got this bin, so you can either choose a color or a group and then press on that bin and delete it. If you don't want to see this question mark coming up each time when you delete any color, then you can simply drag the whole group into the bin and you won't see any question coming. So we've basically gone through all the options here. You have here a few more options. You can choose new swatch, that's the same thing as that icon there. New color group, delete, ungroup. If you want to ungroup anyone that wouldn't be in the group, you can just drag them out or ungroup them. And then you have an option is select all unused. That's quite cool. If you have a logo or something and you used a few of them only, and you don't want to get confused, or you don't want to have so many colors, then you can do select all unused. So currently only this one is the used one, and then I can delete all of the ones which are unused, and I'll have only these two that's for the fill and the stroke. So it's a lot neater and easier. Obviously these ones you can't delete, these are default ones. Then if you go to another option, you can choose add used colors or add selected colors. So if you go to shape, then it'll be add used colors, or otherwise if you have any other element, then you can choose add selected colors. That will put all the colors from this element onto your color group. As you can see, all these colors got added here. That's quite a cool option. Also, you can sort these colors, and you can choose show field. That's like to search the colors. Some of them actually have a name. You can choose black, you'll see that there. Yellow, you can actually name all your colors and you can find them quickly if you want without all these numbers. And you can choose how to show them as a list or large thumbnails, all these stuff there. Swatch options is the same as that icon there. If you just click on any swatch, you have also spot colors. You can choose how to define any spot color. Like I said, I don't think you'll be needing so much to use it nowadays, because I think most of the time they do use process color and it works just as well. And open swatch library is just like the library's icon. And here you have the last options there is to save any swatch. You can change these formats of saving the file. That's the same thing as pressing on this one and choose save swatches. So if you're making a logo, let me just undo those colors. You can choose there any color, or you can choose all of the colors and save these swatches for a later usage. So you can save it from there. You can even actually save it on a disk on key like this. Then you can take it to your office or to your work, wherever, and you will have that swatch library come up with all those colors which you created. Or you can save it as a backup or whatever you want. So it's quite similar to save on a cloud, but here you can save on your own desktop, or like we said, on a flash drive or any of that. So that's basically the whole swatch panel. You could also add a color. If, like we said, you can select it and choose to add these colors. You could also actually use the color picker. You could actually use the color picker from there and choose here any color which you want. Then you'll see it on the fill, and you can actually drag the fill into your swatch panel. You can see it's added there, so that's also cool. Also, if you want to change the swatch and the fill around, you can press on these two arrows there. That'll change it, or Shift X, that's a shortcut. And another cool thing, if you want to drag, say I want this purple to fill both on the fill and the stroke, then you can drag from one to the other. So I'm dragging into the stroke, either from this panel or from there. And obviously the same thing is from the fill to the stroke. You can also drag it, and I'll apply the fill or the stroke to the other one. If you want to bring the colors back to default or black and white, you can press that icon there, or otherwise in the shortcut D, the letter D, that'll bring it back to the default. And to remove the color, like we said, you can press on this, or just the slash or divide key, that'll do the same thing. And another thing, like we said, if you double click here or on that icon there in the swatch panel, you'll get this color picker window. You can choose from here any color just by picking on it and change here any of these options. You can also change, so currently it's on the hue that changes the color. You can change it to the saturation, that'll change the amount. So you've got here all the colors, and you can change the saturation from there, or the greens, or just anything you want like that. And then, like we said, once you have that color, then you can drag it into your swatch panel, or just choose from these options and choose this new swatch. That will create a new swatch that you just created from. And one last and final tip, if you double click on anyone, so you've got this color here, and you want to change the tint of the color, then you can press down Control or Command while pulling any of these sliders, and the tint will be changed. Or you can also hold down the Shift, that also does the same thing. It changes the tint, as you can see it there. So that's quite a long video. Let's just go over very briefly the main things that we learned here. So the swatch panel is where you would store and keep all your colors. and you can pick any color from here. It's predefined colors. You've got here tons of color libraries where you can choose any option here. If you want to bring in any colors, you can either drag a single swatch into your swatch panel, or you can double click on it, or choose the whole folder to bring in, or the whole group. You can move around from these libraries with these icons here. You also have color books. That's for specific colors on the color wheel, where you can tell the printer to print that specific Pantone or any other color book library. Then we said to change any color, you can double click on it or click on the icon down there, and you can change any of these colors here. You can use the different definitions here to define it. You can drag around any color, change the order. You can change the view of these colors as a list or any big thumbnails or any of that sort. You can save also a color either from there or from here. You can save the swatches. You can search a color from this place or any of your color books or libraries, then you can search them from there as well. And we said you can re-edit a whole color group by going on that icon or double clicking there. You can rename it there as well, and you can access the color picker tool by double clicking here. That'll bring you to this, and then you can save the color. So thank you so much for joining me on this video. If you gained anything, or if you gained something, please give a like and subscribe. Also, please feel free to share any of your comments, ideas, questions, or just anything you want to add or share at the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.